Okay, so let's just start our today's session. So as I have already mentioned that we are going to start with the basic topic diet first. So in diet, we are going to talk about basic components that are present in the balanced diet. So moving forward, we need to first understand what is a balanced diet. So the balanced diet is basically a diet that consists of all food groups. And what are these food groups? These are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, minerals, dietary fibers, as well as water. But the point is, they needed to be present in a correct proportions. It doesn't mean that they should have an equal amount. They're not required to be present in an equal amount. They're required to be present in the correct proportions. And you need to also be very aware of the names of these food components. That should be present in your balanced diet, and this is the definition that you need to learn, just because in IGCSE they usually ask you the definition as well as. So for that, it's very important that you would write it. Not only so sometimes the students write eating healthy. That would be incorrect. You need to be very aware that you need to write that if a balanced diet is the one that consists of all food groups in a correct proportions. And let's talk about now how it is important, why we say it is needed to be present in a correct portion. So basically, a balanced diet provides everything needs for the successful growth. So obviously, if we need carbohydrates for energy, we need proteins from muscle building, we need certain minerals and ions, we need waters for enzymes to work and to repair the tissue. And there must also be the enough energy that can be used in the metabolic process. Can you give me a point? Can you give me an example of a molecule that is used to get an energy in the process of respiration? Which molecule is usually used to get that energy? You did it. Yeah, the glucose, and glucose is the form of carbohydrates that we take from our diet usually. And there must also be a certain amount of roughage that's also called fiber, and the fiber you usually obtain from foods, from vegetables, and some grains as well as. So these are also needed to be present. The salads are also needed to be present in your diet, so that you can it can maintain the proper function of your digestive system. Let me add another student. um, okay, let's just continue. So not only these components are important for growth and the repair of tissues. They're a very important source of energy. They're also required to maintain the healthy function of the digestive system. And they could have asked you the function of what is the function of fiber, why they are used. And keep in mind, the fiber that is present in your food is not digested in your digestive system. It means it is not used to get any energy. It is only present to maintain the function of digestive system. The energy we obtain from the proteins, from the carbohydrates, from the lipids. There are other sources that are present there. And a diet can be unbalanced by having too little of the food group. So it means if the balanced amount is not present, even though all of those are present, then it would not be, we can't say that this is a balanced amount. So we need to be aware of this as well as. Let's move forward and let's talk about all of these food groups, and we will discuss what is their actual function. As we already said that they're very important for our body, then let's discuss why they're important for our body, what they are doing in our body, what's their function, and we would get some of the examples from our daily life that are actually the basic sources of the food. So let's start with the carbohydrate first. So as we have mentioned, the carbohydrates are the source of energy. Then you could also go into detail of this, then how they as they act as a source of energy. So they are a source of energy just because they are used in the aerobic not only aerobic respiration, aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration that happens in the mitochondria, and as a result you would get energy in the form of ATP that is used to drive various cellular processes in your body. And when we talk about its sources, so you can obtain the carbohydrates from bread, from cereals, from pasta, rice and potatoes. Then they are already present in your diet, but they need to be present in a certain concentration, not their excess amount. Then let's talk about the proteins. So proteins are important as they are involved in the growth and the repair of body. You can also go in the further detail as you're already aware that enzymes are also proteins. So enzymes are protein. So as a enzyme, they also control all the chemical reactions that are happening in your body. Control chemical reactions in your body. You can give multiple examples of the function of proteins. They have mentioned growth, they have mentioned repair. I give you an example of enzyme. You're already aware that there are certain proteins like hormones that we call. Hormones are also proteins that controls the endocrine function of body, and they're involved in the homeostasis. They're also protein. And just because of these all of these functions, that the proteins are very important for your body. And from where would get this protein? So we get this protein from the meat, fish, egg, pulses and nuts that we use. So obviously in non-vegetarian option, the still protein is present. Then let's talk about the lipids. So for more specifically the lipids, when we say the lipids are basically they're involved in the basic insulation. Insulation is basically what prevents you from the outer environment, and as well as the energy storage. And the sources of this are butter, oil and nuts. So this is very important that you should know the sources as well as. Let me add another student. Haris, please next time be on time. We've already started. Okay. For next, let's talk about the dietary fibers. And as I have already mentioned, that the dietary fibers are actually there. You can also say the roughage. They are not here. They do not provide energy. So the student usually write that just because they say they are very important, they are important, but they do not provide energy. They're not used. And another very important thing, they're not digested in your digestive system. Then they can ask, if they're not digested in the digestive system, they do not provide you energy. So it means do not give energy. So it means then they can ask you or to explain, then if they're not giving you energy, why they are important. So keep in mind, they are important just because they are here to give you, or they're important for the overall function of your digestive system, and they're important just because they maintain the overall health of your digestive system. And from where you would get these a whole roughage of fiber. So you would, as I mentioned, that you can get them from vegetables that you use, from vegetables, from greens that are present, and even from some fruits as well as that are rich in fiber. So you can mention their names here as well as. Let's move forward and talk about and some vitamins now. So for vitamins, you can see here they are present in the, obviously in your they're not produced in our body, so they are needed, but they're needed in a small quantity. And even though they're needed in small quantity, they are very important for your body. They are important for your enzymes, for important functioning of your body. From where you would get these? So you would get these from fruits and from the vegetables. Let's talk about the minerals now. So for minerals, you can see just like vitamins, they're also needed in a small quantity, but that small quantity is even very important. And in the case if they're not present in that small quantity, then it would cause certain diseases as well as. And you would also get the minerals from fruits, vegetables, meats and dairy products. So you're required to learn the functions as well as the sources of all of these components of a balanced diet. Let's talk about water now. Why water is important? So water is obviously needed for a chemical reaction to take place, and you can just add it here that water is very important for functioning of enzymes as well as. So just because all enzymes require aquatic medium for work. So, and another thing that you can add here, it is very important for homeostasis as well as. So can anybody give me an example or explain what is the term homeostasis? Do you have any idea? Nobody has an idea? Are you there? Bete, are you listening? Okay. Bete, homeostasis is basically the process of maintaining a constant internal environment. Just like I have told you the example in which humans are able to maintain their body temperature. So it is the process in which of maintaining you can say a constant internal environment. So in order to maintain constant internal environment, we need water. In order to maintain certain temperature, we need water. So this is very important. And from where you would get, obviously from by drinking water, and you could also get it from juices, milk, fruits, and some vegetables as well as. Let's move forward and let's talk about some vitamins and minerals. And that just because the previous in table they were generally discussed, but you're required to go into detail into the functions of each of these, where they are found, where they are used in your body. So let's just discuss them. So first of all, let's start with the vitamin C. So vitamin C, as we have mentioned that earlier, that vitamins are needed in a small amount. And more specifically, when we talk about vitamin C, so basically it is an important part of your collagen protein. So that's a protein that is present in your body that makes your skin, hair, gums, bones, and so it means if vitamin C is absent, the structure of all of these essential parts of your body would be affected. And if in a case when you're not taking it in a sufficient amount in a balanced diet, then its deficiency can cause the scurvy. So scurvy is a disease or in which you would get the bleeding gums, and just because the gums are not being prepared, it can cause weakening of bones as well as. So they could ask you the sources from where we get that vitamin C. So basically, vitamin C is can be obtained from the citrus fruits, from strawberries, as well as green vegetables. So the sources are usually asked in the form of MCQs, and so you should be aware what are the sources of these. Let's talk about vitamin D now. Vitamin D is another very important vitamin, and its function is different from vitamin C. It is required for a stronger bones and teeth, and it is very important to absorb calcium as well as. So it means even though if you are taking the calcium in right amount, if vitamin D is not present, then your body wouldn't able to absorb that calcium. So both of those are interlinked. You need to maintain the certain concentration of both of them in your body, in your balanced diet. And vitamin D can be obtained from the oily fish, from eggs, from liver of animal that you eat, the dairy products, and it can also be made naturally if you have certain exposure to sunlight. That's also very good point here as well as. Let's talk about calcium and iron. So calcium and iron are an example of minerals, but we are talking both of the discussing both of them just because they mentioned this in your outline. So for calcium, as I already mentioned that calcium absorption is needed or it occurs in the presence of vitamin D. Why it is present? It is needed for a strong teeth, and it is involved in the clotting of blood. So clotting of blood is also very important, just because if your body is if you get an injury or there is a cut, then in order to prevent the loss of blood, the clotting is very important. And if calcium is not present in a certain amount, then it can lead to osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a disease of bones in which calcium deposition is prevented, and the bones becomes very weak. So that's a disease that occurs in the absence of calcium. From where you would get the calcium? So it comes from milk, cheese, and eggs. Let's talk about iron now. That's another mineral that is very important for your body. So basically, iron is needed to make the hemoglobin. What is hemoglobin? Yes, the red pigment that is present in our red blood cells, and that is responsible for the transport of oxygen. It means if you're not taking enough iron in your diet, it means that it would prevent the formation of enough hemoglobin. And if hemoglobin is not being formed in your body, then your body wouldn't able to perform the function of the transport of oxygen that efficiently, and it would impact all other processes as well as. Let's talk about the sources now. So you can get the iron from red meat, liver, leafy green vegetables that are present in your body, and that can be consumed in the form of balanced diet, and that can enter in your body to give you enough amount of iron. And some of the examples of these leafy green vegetables are spinach. So let's continue now with the next part of this, in which we will talk about certain dietary needs or the factors that we discussed earlier, and we would link it with the dietary needs in certain factors. What are the dietary needs? So that certain obviously diseases could be prevented. So whenever obviously the growth is being happen, or it usually occurs in the children, just because when they're in the growing stage, they need higher proportion of protein. So it means the concept of balanced diet is different for a child, for an adult, and for you can say elderly people. So they all are not in the same category. And just when activity is high, when a person is actively involved in you can say in an activity in which a lot of movement is required, then it means that more energy is required, and as a result, for the movement of muscles, they need to get more energy, and in order to get the more energy, they need to have a certain concentration or certain amount of high protein and high energy food in their body. And this can happen in all ages, just because it depends upon the activity of person. During pregnancy, just because there is an involvement of enough nutrition, requirement of enough nutrition, so extra energy is needed, the calcium is needed, and that helps in the development of fetus that is growing inside the mother's body. And even though the calcium and the energy input is required in the breastfeeding as well as, so their dietary need would be different from the normal female. As I did the discussion of some diseases earlier, as I told you that how that you can say certain absence of certain food components can cause problem for a person, then let's talk about how these problems arises. So this is a picture that you can see. This is an example of a bleeding gum that are being caused by the scurvy. So let's discuss them. So scurvy, as we have already discussed, that it is a disease that is caused in a case when vitamin C deficiency is present in the body. So it means if you're not taking enough vitamin C, then there is a chance that you can develop a condition that can cause scurvy, and scurvy can lead to the bleeding gums. And for that they could have asked you in the question that this is a person that is dealing with the scurvy, which kind of food component is absent in his food, which kind of food he needs to add in his digestive balanced diet. So you should be aware that from where that disease come from, and then you can give the symptom and possible solution. So first of all, you would mention, so scurvy is caused by the vitamin C deficiency, and it is caused by the lack of vitamin C in the diet. And as it is caused by the vitamin C in the diet, so what are its symptoms? So we need to understand what are the symptoms. So basically, the symptoms that you would observe in this specific case are anemia, just because it would impact the overall formation of blood, exhaustion, spontaneous bleeding in the gum, just because it is causing the bleeding gum. So it would cause the loss of blood, it would cause the pain in limbs, it would cause swelling in certain areas of body. It can also form ulcers in your gums, as well as this if this situation prevails, it can also cause tooth loss as well as. So what are the solution to this? So the solution for the scurvy is to maintain a certain diet with enough vitamin C, and in order to overcome quickly, the doctors are advised the vitamin C supplements, so that you can say treatment can be done orally in the form of tablets, and intravenous treatment can be observed, in which you can say they are given through a quick or a method that is to supply enough vitamin C to the body to get the get response as quick as possible. I hope this point is clear to you. Is this clear? Okay, let's talk about the next disease now. The next disease that we are going to talk about is that leads to the rickets. So rickets is usually prevalent in the kids. So this is a picture of the kids in which you can see these deformed legs here. So during growth, they were not usually given enough food, and because of absence of that enough balanced food, they develop the condition rickets, that usually linked with the one of the very important reason, and that's called lack of you can say balanced amount of vitamin D. So what happens here? So basically, rickets is a condition that happens in the children by the poor bone development, and its symptoms, as I have shown you the picture, it involves bone pain. It can cause the lack of the bone growth, and as a result, they can cause deformations of bone, that just because the bones are too weak to obviously support their body. And this is a very dangerous condition, just because it would impact the overall posture of body. And the reason behind this is the lack of vitamin D. And if vitamin D is absent, as I have previously mentioned, even though you are taking the calcium in diet, your body would not able to absorb enough calcium in the body. So it means both this disease is being caused because of the absence of vitamin D as well as the calcium. So just because as they have mentioned, the vitamin D is required to be present in your diet if you want to absorb certain calcium in your body. So and as calcium are key components of your bones as well as your teeth, and if enough calcium absorption is not being done, then the person can develop the condition that is called rickets. And this can be treated by giving certain exposure to sunlight and by maintaining the diet that is rich in vitamin D as well as calcium. So that the sources are fish, egg, and butter. And it can be treated by increasing the consumption of all other foods that are available to maintain certain vitamin D and calcium concentration. And even just because in the severe cases, they can be given vitamin D supplements as well as so that once the vitamin D is being given to the body, then they would take the calcium from the balanced diet, then the problem would be solved. And the third problem is anemia. The anemia is the term that is we used in the case when enough blood or iron is not present. So if iron is not present, it means that enough hemoglobin is not formed. So this is basically linked with the iron in your diet. And if you're not taking enough iron, it means it results or it would prevent the formation of enough blood pigment. And as you have already given you the answer, you have given me the answer that hemoglobin is a component of the basically red blood cell that are present in your body, that causes that are responsible for the formation of red blood cells that are present, and then the function is to transport oxygen. So it means if hemoglobin is absent, then body would not able to transport enough oxygen and less red blood cells would form as a result. So this condition can lead to anemia. And this can also link with all multiple other diseases as well, as just because they would cause further problems. Let's talk what are the solutions and what are the possible symptoms of these. So basically, as we have mentioned, that hemoglobin carries the oxygen to all cells and tissues inside the blood. So if hemoglobin is not present, so overall numbers of red blood cells would decrease that are present in your blood. So once the number of red blood cells decreases, then it means that you can say it can cause a disease that is called anemia. And anemia is in anemic condition, your skin, the person's skin appears to be pale. That's a very important symptom that can be used as you can obviously do detection that this person is anemic. And once the person is anemic, it means enough oxygen is not being reached to his muscles, his body. Then it means it results into the fatigue, exhaustion, and even normal body function. That person would stay always tired, and it would cause the problem for him to carry simple you can say functions or other you can say processes, and he would face difficulty in it, just because the respiring cells are not getting enough oxygen for them to work. So this is what they have mentioned here, that you can see it. They could and if they ask you the question for 2 to 3 marking points, so you should write it according to the marking points. So you would not only answer that this is because of absence of hemoglobin, you should explain this because hemoglobin is absent, so enough oxygen would not transport. Number of red blood cells would decrease, and as a result, the respiring cell would not get enough oxygen, and that results into the exhaustion and fatigue. I hope all of this is clear to you.